Hey, just gonna be honest with you for a minute, really. I've been avoiding. Yeah, I've been avoiding. I knew last week when I made a video, or over the weekend, I made a video that talked about me being in my car and how do people cope? Where do they go? That was probably the start of something. And then I just got really hit with a demotivation, like totally demotivation bug. It just like woof on me and didn't really want to do anything, found it really difficult to do anything. And was just really struggling. And so, like, today, the deadlines are all getting closer, and I know that I've got stuff to do. So I've been working hard, but then there's all sorts of other things I've put off that I did not do this week. And so some of you will notice that there were no YouTube videos this week yet. I'm about to go in and film them because I decided, yeah, I need to. And I was just really feeling bleh and not motivated to do anything. I mean, in that time, I've still managed to do art classes, still managed to do some recordings for church, still managed to hook up with my girl and sort out Mother's Day activities for church people, still managed. Yeah, so like I'm really busy, but my motivation level was just none. And then like I would just slept. I'd sit down in the evening, have dinner, maybe get through one episode of something that I normally watch, and then just fall asleep and go to bed, or just go directly to bed. So it hits. It took 2 months of being in the house, working full time and homeschooling kids full time, for it to finally hit the kind of really low, demotivated, not wanting to do anything phase. I powered through. I still had loads of work to do, so it's not like you can stop. Like, I've got kids. What am I supposed to do? I can't crawl into my bed, put the duvet over my head and pretend they don't exist. Well, technically, my husband says I can, but I don't feel that's like the responsible, well-rounded thing to do. So you push yourself, right? You keep pushing, and then you push and you push until you basically break. And since I've done that before, since I have actually been there before where I have broken, and it wasn't pretty and it wasn't nice, and I'm still recovering, I decided I wasn't going to do that, but I was going to acknowledge that I was really demotivated, and I was going to acknowledge that I was really tired, and I'm going to acknowledge that I'm not doing anything, and I'm going to try to do the basic things and not guilt trip myself. So what I tend to do is I guilt trip myself and make it worse, and then I feel terrible, and then I don't do anything because I feel awful, and it's a vicious little cycle. And then I saw a comment on one of my pictures about how I looked fat, and you always look fat. And I had a run-in with somebody on a page. I didn't mean to. I just felt passionately about something and then responded and then instantly regretted it. And really, I don't do internet discussions because I find them really... You don't know the person you're talking to. You don't understand the nuance. You don't know the history. You don't know what they're going through. So when you come, it's really difficult to stay on topic. Most people get really personal after a while. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to stoop to that level. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be like name calling with you online. That just, to me, it's not nice. I don't like it when people do it to me. I don't want to do it to anyone else. So I try to avoid situations where I'm going to end up in that place. And I didn't. And I allowed it to happen. And I didn't name call or anything. I just politely excused myself from the conversation and never commented again. Because to me, it was really important that you do not degrade. You have no idea what the other person... their full range. You can't get that from like a paragraph, you know what I mean? You just can't get that from a paragraph on the internet of somebody you've never met. And you can't... There are people who troll, and that's one thing, but there are people you just don't know them, so why would you? So I decided, yeah, after a few little incidents of trolls and bad conversations and not feeling motivated, that I would, just wander into town. Turned out that like my favourite store in the whole world was open for the first time, and I was there on the first day. So I went through, and my friend gave me some money and said, go buy yourself something. I bought a nice dress. She'll be really proud of me. And be happy. And I thought, okay, do something. Just do something that isn't sitting in the hole, and do something. And so I did. And that was it. That's all I did. And now I feel quite motivated. But it isn't as simple as I think I've made it sound. It is difficult. I have burnt out. I've had my own mental health battles and issues. And so I've had to learn the process of how to dig yourself out of those holes when you get into them. Because for the whole of my life, I never had that experience. Never, ever ran out of energy. Never, ever was in that really dark, low place for any sustained period of time. And had only ever had it by association. So like people in my life suffer with mental health issues, and therefore I have an understanding of it. But me myself hadn't really ever gone to that stage where I broke, where my mind said no more to this point and no further. And when it did, for me it was really hard. Independent, strong woman. We don't break. We don't do that. You don't break. Like there's a lot I want to say on this, but I'm not going to. But we don't break. And I was really, really, really hard on myself and didn't allow myself to fully appreciate the depths that I'd gone to. And so when I say now, when I get like that, and I know that I can feel that if I keep going, I will push myself back to that place, I stop. I acknowledge what I'm feeling. I inhabit my emotions. I allow them to be named. I name them correctly. I find out what is the underlying cause. I go through the process, and sometimes there isn't one. I suffer with health conditions, which mean that sometimes my hormones just mess up and your mind just can't take it, and you just need to sleep. And other times there are reasons, and you need to distinguish between the two, because you cannot guilt and beat yourself up. And that for me is a real big problem, a cycle. I will get into beating myself up, and then that's it, it's done. So I'm just letting you have a real moment of what is it really like if you hit that wall. It took me 2 months to get there, 2 months of lockdown here in the Netherlands, in our part of the world, churches closed, working in different ways, online meetings, standing outside people's houses to do visitations and waving at them, like detoxing when you've had to go on one, and just like showering and changing your clothes from head to toe, staying in all of those restrictions that you're familiar with, but still having to do my job, still having to be present for people, messaging sometimes 500 messages a day between different people, trying to keep up with their lives, trying to make sure that they feel and know that they're valued. And that takes time, and it takes energy, and it pulls and it drains. And there does come a point when you hit that wall, and I hit it after 2 months. So I'm quite proud of myself, because a lot of people might say that if you're recovering from a burnout like I am, you would hit that a lot sooner, but I have a lot of measures in place that help me. So I'm really proud of myself that I got 2 months, and that basically it hit last week that that down period was coming, and under a week later, I can acknowledge it, talk about it, tell you about it, and say, okay, that's what that feels like. I was called like the eternal sunshine person by a friend of mine. He's like, oh, you're always so happy, like you had joy in the face of overcoming. And I thought, bless you, you're so sweet. But there really are times when I can't get out of bed. There really are times when I can't do it. And I might seem like eternal sunshine, but eternal sunshine needs God as much as everyone else. I need Jesus just as much as anyone else. I need hope. I need the Holy Spirit. I need all the prayers, the Bible, the prayer, everything. I need it all just as much as anyone else, because you're not always eternal sunshine. Like it just isn't like that. And I thought I could be, because there was a point in my life when I was like, okay, in the face of a lot of crap, and I had my dark moments. Oh no, I am literally joy and energy, but the energy ran out. One day I woke up and it didn't work anymore, and I have all sorts of issues, and I have to deal with that. So this is me saying it's not easy, it's tough, but guess what? We get there. And I really want to re-record this and not put it out there in this form, because I think I could say it better. But I think at the same time, you need to see the real side of what we do. And it's not all glamorized. It's not all fantastic. It's not all the easy peasy stuff. It's not all just me getting up and saying, have hope. These are really difficult things to have in the face of really difficult times. And we, as pastors, I as a pastor, struggle just as much as everyone else, and have those times when it's hard, and we fight through and we overcome. But sometimes you sleep through and then you overcome. Take a nap. have some food. You might feel better. It's a lesson from one of the prophets in the Bible. Have a look at that one. All right, bye.